and getting Sharpie on my dress.
Oh, that's a dress? Cute.
Yep.
Actually, I'm wearing a dress too. Mine's like a
You are?
t-shirt dress though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Mine's just a little cute wraparound dress.
Sundress. Yeah. That's cute.
Yeah. The difference is it's dress weather where you live.
Yeah, it is.
It's snowing today here.
Mm. Hey, but at
And
least that means fresh snow to play in, right?
it's
Not
true.
like
My
old
kids have been
icy
building snow
snow.
tunnels. Yeah.
Nice. That's the fun stuff to do with snow. Like
Yeah.
I like a good building
Indeed.
building some shiz, playing in the snow, and then coming in and taking off all the wet clothes and having a snack. We
Having a
used to
hot
have
chocolate.
Yes, we used to have hot chocolate and buttered toast.
That sounds delightful.
Really good. Yeah.
I have hot chocolate all the time.
Yeah, we do too.
Um, although the thing I do not like is when it's like I think this week it was -4, feels like
Ugh,
-15 or something like
ugh,
that.
gross.
Yeah,
Yeah. No.
not fun. You
It's
can't wear this
painful.
outside.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
but I will put a plug in for anybody who has those heated vests. Those are delightful.
Oh yeah,
Not gonna lie. Yeah, I got
I
one
can
for Christmas
imagine.
and it has been my saving grace this winter.
Yeah, yeah. I think if I were still living
So
somewhere where it was cold like that, I would have invested in something like that too. The like warming jackets and stuff.
invested in a vest. I see what
Yes.
you did there.
Unintentionally.
Unintentional. Anyway, welcome back to our little white picket fence.
Welcome.
One of these days we'll have a little
Jingle or something?
music that goes with that. Sounds good.
How are we gonna
Um,
do that?
I don't know. We'll find a way.
Mike, help us.
Yes. Um, anyways, you sent me a TikTok this week that I really enjoyed, and it was about why it's so dang hard to make friends in your middle ages, I guess,
Yeah.
when you're an adult, why it's hard to make and keep friends. And if you want to play it, like, do you just want to play it here?
Yeah. Yeah. Right
Okay.
here, Jesse. Right here. Okay.
All right.
Pretty please.
Pretty please.
Why is it so GD hard to make friends?
Sadly, this has to do with systemic exploitation. So, one of the things that the creation of the nuclear family has done is essentially create cubicles of life. We have little tiny cubicles of existence with little singular families that cannot possibly keep up with all of the work that must be done to maintain a family. In previous eras, the work of washing and cooking and doing all of these kind of maintenance skills was done collectively. It was done in groups. It was done with groups of people who would join together and do all of their laundry, do all of their things. But we have broken this into tiny individualistic responsibilities and cubicles. And so you have these work responsibilities and you have these home responsibilities. And there's not much in between those other than paying for some kind of public activity. Paying to go to a restaurant, paying to go to the movies, paying to go to an event, paying for anything you do in public. There's not just places most of the time for people to gather. Even if you do want to have a gathering in many places, you're going to have to pay for it and do a decent number of things, even get permits to be there, even with something like a public park if you have a large gathering of people. So we have commodified everything in our lives to the point where we can't make friends. It has to be a chance encounter in something that's a transactional engagement, somebody who works someplace, somebody who runs into somebody and happens to have a conversation. But we've even demonized that to the point where nobody wants to be talked to in public. No, don't, that's inappropriate. That's socially weird to talk to a new person. And so we've created further and further social rules to isolate us. And so the only time we can make friends is in these weird in-between places or in work where there's a lot of risk to our professional oversight, right? Because those are high control in a capitalistic society. So we have to look at this and recognize this creation of this little personalized single family cubicle has created a situation where nobody is willing to let people into that space because they fundamentally can't keep it up. They can't keep the clean house and the work and have enough money to go do the events and do everything else. It's very rare. And so we've developed this sense of shame that keeps us even further isolated because we don't want to invite people in because it's seen as shameful to do chores in front of someone else. It's shameful to not have the house already ready for them. It's shameful to do mundane tasks like go grocery shopping with your friends because we have decided that even being a friend with somebody is something that's transactional and performative because of the exploitation and expectation.
After that, it really got me thinking about why it's so hard to make and keep friends when you're an adult, because it really is.
Yeah.
And part of it's because we're so busy, but I think there's more than that. And I
So,
think that that video highlighted that rather well. Anyway, did you
yeah.
have any thoughts on it? Like,
Well, I got stuck for a while on the nuclear family, thinking
uh-huh,
about how like um how it's like a creation, like how in that video she
yeah,
talked about how like back in older times we did work more communally, and when we got away from that and everything became so individualistic, and I think I would be so much happier doing so many things that I do in my day with like a group
hmm,
of friends. Like I have no problem doing the work. Like I am fine with that.
yeah,
It's the doing it alone part that makes it feel like just such a chore.
yeah.
And
I think that's 100% right.
yeah.
Um,
Um
there was, I don't remember where I read it, but the invention of the washing machine. Do you remember talking about that at all? Did we talk about that on here?
say it again because it's not ringing a bell.
Okay, so it used to be when women would wash their clothes, like in a tub or by the river, or, wherever they would wash them, it would have to be a place where people had lots of water when they didn't have indoor plumbing, and um, they would meet at these ponds or rivers or whatever, and they would all do their washing. And so it would be kind of a place for the ladies to talk and to, um, they would just have people around them. And as soon as the personal washing machine was invented, it increased depression rates in women because they didn't have that time to be with their friends. They just put their stuff in a machine and walked away, and that was that. And I think we miss a lot of that now. There's a lot of things that I can't say we. There's a lot of things that I personally don't do communally because I feel like I should have it all together before I invite people into my space, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and
should
I
have,
think that was what she was saying on there. I think a lot of people feel
mhm,
that way. Like
yes,
they don't want someone coming in there. It's not clean enough. It's not,
uh-huh.
you know.
And the funny thing is when we wait until we've got it all together to invite people over, it increases anxiety for the other person too. Like, oh, well, she's got it all together, and then I need to, get my crap together, and it doesn't make for a happy community.
Yeah, it makes me feel like maybe we peaked as like humans for happiness, like
Yeah,
at a different time where we thought we were advancing to these things that would make us happier, when really they were just like things that were gonna increase our anxieties and things like that and create a whole new
yeah,
set of
maybe.
like problems.
Yeah.
Not that I
Well, I
want to
like
go
all
back
the,
in all
yeah,
of those ways.
I was gonna say I like all the modern conveniences. I just wish there was a way that we could, I don't know, meet together communally. And the other thing that she brought up was now when we get together, it's all things that cost money or things like out in like things that we have to be doing. We have to be doing something specific in order to get together. And I wish we had more opportunities just to meet together communally. And I guess that's one of the good things about having like a church community,
Yeah.
which I really miss actually.
Me
I
too.
miss
That's
being
the
able
only
to,
thing I really miss from religion. And
yeah.
I wish we could just and I know there, like I've talked about it before, there are some like organizations that are trying to do that. Like there's one in Orlando that it's like just a group of people that miss the community of religion, but don't miss the religion
Mhm.
of religion. So and I've
Yeah.
never gone because it's not really a community. It's like a destination. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a community in the way that was with the church, it was those that lived like around you, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, it gave you a
Yeah.
common ground, and that's not
Yeah.
something that like neighborhoods have so much anymore.
Yeah.
We all keep to
Well,
ourselves too much,
yeah.
or at least
And we
that's
can
me.
pick and choose like who we hang out with in the neighborhood. Whereas if you're in a church, it's kind of like your family. If you think about your family, my family, um, even though you love all of them, and you come from a huge family, we both come from big families.
Yeah,
Anyways, um, there are some of them that if you were just placed out into the world without being family, you may not even cross paths.
yeah,
You may not have been friends with, but because you were thrown into the same community, um, you learn how to deal with people and you learn how to find the best in people and the relationships that work for you and those people. Does that make
yeah,
sense? Is
yeah.
that just
No,
rambling?
totally makes
And it's
sense.
same with the church. It's just everybody from the neighborhood, and there's people that you kind of like don't want to be so close with, but they're there, and you learn how to deal with them. And there's people that you really connect with, and you know cling on to them and
Yeah,
make friendships and things. But
we're not forced to
that,
like be with
yeah,
people and overlook their flaws.
right. But when you're like cherry picking who you want to hang out with, there's a lot of people that get left in the dust because you're like, I just don't have the energy for that right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. It'd be nice to have a regular community of all kinds of people. And
Yeah,
school did that too.
yeah. But then
So
when you get to our age, then it's just there's nothing outside of paying to go to some sort of an event. But even then, people go with their friends and like stay with their friends, and
yeah,
it's just
there's no forced community. Like force is
yeah.
a hard word, but yeah, there's no forced community. It's not
So what I've got to do is just be more
people
forceful for people to make them be my
forceful.
friends. Yeah.
I should force people to be friends with me. If I could like pay them, maybe they would hang out with me. But no,
We're all too busy to hang
no,
out too. That's part of the problem. Like
yeah,
when do you plan to hang out? That's why living in a community and working together not only did it lighten the load, but you were hanging, I would imagine, hanging out with people you liked.
hmm
I mean, I'm sure in that community, like you said, there were the people who maybe didn't fit in as much, and then it gave them a place so they weren't completely left out, which is also good.
yeah. Everybody kind of fits in, finds where they feel comfortable in a community,
Yeah, I
I
feel
guess.
like so many adults I hear them talking about not, how hard it is to find adult friends. So it's like everybody kind of wants it, but then like but also they want to be home sitting.
Nobody wants to be the friend that plans everything, but everybody wants to be invited to things.
Yeah.
Like that's part of it.
I've been
So
the planning friend a lot of my life. But then
yeah,
now when I don't feel up to planning as much, I can really see how it's like, yeah, there's not too many people out there like putting it together.
yeah,
At least I'm not on their invite list. You know what I mean? Because I don't know them.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I think yeah, I think there is a lot less event planning going on. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we just don't get invited, Rach.
Maybe.
No, no. Also, as far as like making friends goes, you and I have been friends since high school. And I
Mhm.
feel like if you lived closer, I would be like, dude, I got a crap ton of laundry to do. Just come over and we'll watch some sort of trashy TV and you can help me fold laundry or something.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I've lived here for like 18 years and I don't have that connection with people. Like I very much have the feeling like I have to have things put together before I have somebody come over. And
Yeah.
it would be easier if you were here. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Come here.
I agree. I agree. But you have to come here because you just said it was like -4 feels like -15.
I
You
didn't
remember
sell that one
saying
very
those
well, did
words,
I?
right? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I do. I do. Indeed.
So,
So
I mean,
eventually,
I do think we should be closer, but I think you should be the one doing the moving closer.
that does sound
Yeah.
good.
No, it would be so fun to like be able to do those things together. Granted, like I work too. There's just such an imbalance in like the nuclear family, like that there
Yeah.
like
But even then, I could be like, you could be like, uh, man, I have had like the busiest work week, and I could just bring your family dinner or something. You know what I mean? Like when you have a community, you see where the needs are and you balance each other out.
yeah,
Back in olden times, they couldn't do it by themselves. There was just so much to do,
yeah.
and
You know what I think
we did rely on each other.
is important about like communities that we miss out on in the way that like we kind of go out a little more from our hometowns and stuff like that. Granted, I think that's a
Yeah.
good thing because I think we've learned a lot, but um like all the different like generations kind of like taking care of each other. Like I live here
Hmm.
near the villages where there's just so many old people and like everybody working is working to take care of them versus like just a community where it's like your elderly parents live with somebody or like the community takes care of
Yeah.
them and they still bring some value to the community with like you know but now that we've like
Wisdom.
separated into like I don't know like the different
Yeah.
age groups too,
Yep.
like we're not just
Absolutely.
separating, we're just so um just getting more and more individualistic.
Hmm. Yeah. When we moved here to Idaho, my husband's family lived right down the road. Like they were our next door neighbors, but they were half a mile away because we lived like in farm country.
Yeah.
And he still had, I think, 7 siblings still at home. And I had, like, in those first few years of us living here, I had just a couple of kids. And motherhood kind of threw me for a loop when I first started having kids. Like, I went from um, me and you hanging out all the time doing crazy crap to being married and being a responsible adult. You know what I mean? And when you first have babies and your whole world revolves around them, especially if you're like stay at home, it gets really quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're alone a
Like
lot.
kids have personalities, but you can't like have a deep conversation with a 1 year old or a toddler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was super, super, super helpful for me to be able to like when Cody's siblings would get home from school, we'd go hang out with them, probably more than I should have, but it was really enjoyable to have just
Why more than you should have? Your
family.
kids were making
Because
like
I was over
awesome
there like
memories.
every freaking day. There, yeah.
I bet you they loved it. Like I bet
I
you
think
those are
the
just like
kids did,
awesome
but their mom
memories.
was
Yeah.
probably like, go home. Like, no, she was really nice, but there was probably times when she's like, "Don't you have a house?"
Yeah.
But but she never said it to me, so thank you.
Yeah, I bet you she
But
enjoyed the
yeah,
community too. She enjoyed that you guys gave her kids something to do. Like my kids
no,
don't even want to do the activities available to them here at our home unless someone's here to do it with them. Like I try to make
yeah,
it such a fun space and everything just sits there
hmm,
unused. I'm just like, I don't want to take care of this stuff anymore. Like, because they don't
yeah.
want to use it unless it's in a group. And I get it.
Hmm.
I feel the same way. I'm like,
We find true joy and enjoyment when we're doing it with others. When you're doing it by yourself, it's
yeah,
a whole different
like,
story.
like maybe we need to start doing more like communal living. Everybody needs to start like cohabitating. I don't know. But then again, you do have those times where you just want to be freaking away from people too.
Yeah,
And
yeah. If you look at polygamous communities where it is very communal, right? I mean, this
why'd
is
you have to go
horrible,
polygamous? How come it has
but
to be a bad thing? About an
because I've
awesome
been
thing.
I've been hearing stories lately that's been a little
Okay.
focused, but yeah, where we were LDS, there was always the community just outside of that that was polygamous, right? So they're kind of intriguing. But they there's like 7 moms and one husband, and they have all 20,000 kids or whatever living around the same place, and that is not something that appeals to me like in the least.
Yeah, no,
Like that
that doesn't
just
appeal to me, but as
that
couples,
sounds like a cluster
couples
fudge.
living in like a very close proximity and like sharing
Yeah,
a communal space, like where you the
yeah.
community share,
Yeah,
Like our idea is
just
to
not
have
a spouse, huh?
um yeah, I want to have my own person. But
Hmm.
the we want to get a plot of land and put like a bunch of
Yeah.
tiny homes on it for just all of our friends, and then like just a communal, like the kitchen space, all that stuff where it's like intended to like have. And sometimes I think it's good, like you said, to like, I don't know, learn to be around people despite their quirks, and not, learn to just kind
Hmm.
of deal with certain things, because nobody's always going to be your cup of tea, but you also got to learn how to just deal with shit, because maybe that's what people are so introverted and like don't want to go out and do stuff but want friends, like they don't want to deal with
Yeah.
people not being exactly what they want those people to be. But there's something to be said for being able to allow others to be themselves without it like affecting you, or you taking on what bothers you about them.
Yeah. Which can be really hard because there's people that get under your skin. Like,
For sure.
I mean, not, yeah.
But in my in
Um,
my little plot of land, it's all gonna be friends anyway. So I'm sure that would still
that sounds
exist though.
awesome.
Everybody gets under
Well,
everybody's
there,
skin
yeah, of course, we're all
sometimes.
human, but hopefully you learn to interact with each other and be able to like communicate what works and what doesn't. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Anyway.
Yeah. I just love the idea of like communal living, but in like today's society and everything, there's no real way to go back to it. Like, how do we? It just doesn't. There's not a way to do it without like completely upending, uprooting. Yeah,
Yeah. There's, what was I watching? Oh, there was a community that lives like off the grid kind of thing,
yeah,
like makes a very low carbon footprint, and they have a lot of communal living like that. It reminded me of like
yeah,
hippie communes in the 1970s, but this one actually works. And it's pretty cool.
yeah.
I'll have to get a link and share it with you because that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I find that so appealing, but I feel like that would be so like it would be hell for like my kids or something. You know what I mean? To take them out
Yeah.
of their thing to like, but I'm like, I totally see the appeal to like
Yeah.
having less, but like living more and hanging out with people and working together.
Yeah.
Like
Like even
sometimes, sorry, go ahead.
keep going.
I was just gonna say sometimes with like just the grind of everything that ends out going to work and having all the things I have, I'm like, I would much rather just spend just spend my time doing things I want to do, living much smaller, much less. Like, I think that's why there's so many people doing the tiny home thing and like traveling now, because it's just that they're not accepting that like that grind. But once you've accepted it for so long, it's like so hard to like put the brakes on it. You just get
Hmm.
stuck in it. Is that
Yeah,
what they call it? The hamster wheel of life?
definitely feels like that sometimes.
It does.
Um, and I think there's people that thrive on community and people that thrive on, I don't know, I think about, I really like community type stuff, but I think my husband would not like, anyway,
It wouldn't work
I
as well
think,
for
I think
him.
that sounds like his personal hell, but yeah, I think we have a pretty good balance most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Um,
Yeah, no, I love
there
the
was,
like my little family and spending time with them, and I don't necessarily feel the need to throw anybody else in to like make me feel fulfilled. It's the it's all those stuff it takes to like take care of everything, that it's like, oh my God, how can we share this load and do less, and like
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, and like if my house, the whole house is dirty, the first thing I go for all the time are like sinks and toilets and stuff. I like cleaning porcelain, I guess. I don't know. I like mirrors and like all those kind of things. I like cleaning bathrooms. Bruh. And I hate laundry. Like I hate it so much. And I think for other people they like laundry and they wouldn't want to clean the toilet.
Yes.
Or you know what I mean? And I think
That's what we maybe
working
we need to find
together,
a set up an app where it's like people can create networks. It's like everybody can sign up as either like I'm a cook, I'm a this, I'm a that, and then they can like take
uh-huh.
on like one person who do all those people's laundry, one person could do
Yeah, for real. Like,
we just share the load. I will do all of this
yeah.
task for you if you do all of that
Yeah.
one for me.
Hmm.
Sounds like a good
Oh,
girl.
and what I was gonna say earlier was I like the I don't know. There's a communal living we had as kids.
Hmm.
I think you guys probably had very similar where like after dinner, all the kids would go out to the neighborhood and we'd like play night games or just run around the
Hmm.
neighborhood or ride
Yeah.
bikes or and it's not that you were bestest buddies with people. It's just like, hey, there's kids around and let's go play. Let's go do things.
Yeah.
And yeah, we need an adult park. Like
Yes. Well, I think,
one
and
where
where it's not like a bar, where it's like different from that, like where you just literally just go to like
just go
play and be
play.
active. Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
not a
If you
paid
could
event where you have to go and
no.
yeah.
And you know, I parts of me never grew up. I think I could still go up to somebody and be like, "You're 40? I'm 40. Let's be friends." Like,
Mhm. Yes.
I have a cat. Like, just
Do you like cats?
yeah, exactly. Do you like it? Just the random weird crap that comes out of kids' mouths, be able to say that to people and
Mhm.
like make connections that way.
Oh yeah, we were at the park
Mhm.
recently, and Elena got up top and was just like, "Who wants to be my friend?" And this girl like immediately took her on. It was like an 8 or 9 year old girl though, who like
Right?
mostly then started following me around and telling me her life story. But it was really cute, and I
It's
was
all
just
good.
like, how bold and how she just like, "I'm here.
Right?
Who wants this?"
Hmm. Maybe we all just need to stop having such a filter on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Because I remember my son's second day of kindergarten, and he comes in, and I'm like, "Oh, did you make friends?" You know,
Uh-huh.
and a little boy was like, "Hey, see you later." I'm like, "Oh, is that your friend?" He's like, "No, that's not my friend." And I'm like, "Oh, you shouldn't say that. Maybe that's an indoor inside the car thing to say." But I don't
No,
know.
that's not my friend.
We're not friends. I'm like,
Well, I mean, it was, yeah.
well then, he thinks
Whereas,
you're friends. He waved goodbye.
yeah,
No, anyway.
yeah, that's funny. Is he a
Whereas
social
what?
person now,
Hmm?
your kid? I was just gonna say
Oh yeah.
Elena. Everybody's her friend.
Hmm.
Whether they
There's
are or
yeah,
they aren't, they are.
exactly. They are if she says so.
Yeah.
So we are friends.
Yeah.
And
I don't think, I mean, I think it's a pretty universal thing that adults feel like it's hard to make friends, except for maybe the people who actually stayed where they're from. Like
mhm.
one of the twirling moms that I'm friends with,
Yeah,
she has her like high school group of friends that will still get together like with their spouses like once a month or something. And I'm like, oh man, like
would love
that
that.
would be so nice. Why'd we have to move
Well,
all over? You know?
I don't know.
Why'd we do
I
that?
don't know. Like I have no real attachment to high school itself. Like
No. Mm-mm.
that's gone. But I think like the girls that we knew in high school know you in a way that you don't really let people get to know you now. Or maybe I should instead of saying you, I should say me. Like I don't let people get to know me like I did with you guys back then. You know what I mean? Because we'd have sleepovers and we'd just
Because
like
it was
tell all of
appropriate
the
to do
things.
things like
And
that. But as you get older, it's kind of like, well, now you're supposed to take on, you take, I don't know,
now you're a
we
responsible adult.
stop and we never should have stopped because that's living life is like living life with your people. But
Yeah.
we're like, but I must go off and I don't know.
I must fill the persona of okay, I'm gonna throw church into here again because I do that a lot. But um in Mormon communities, I think image is such a huge thing. Like even without realizing it.
Yeah.
Um
Almost like it's one of the things that they can still control and do
mhm,
without realizing because it is highly prevalent, like
yeah.
body issues and like just
Mhm.
the amount of plastic surgery that happens in like Utah County, Utah.
Utah County, if you look it up, has like some of the highest rates of plastic surgery, of depression. Um, what are the other things? Debt,
Yeah.
like, um, and a whole bunch of other ones that don't fit in. I'm going over right now, but a lot of that is trying to make it look like you have it all together by yourself. You know,
Yeah.
I've got this, but
Yeah. I do think it has
it's
like
hard.
whether you realize it or not though, like there's so many things they can't do that you're not supposed to do
Yeah,
that are of the world. But that one,
That one I've
There's
got.
no stipulations. Go for it. There's no type of like doctrine that's anti that.
Anti being the best mom and Joanna Gaines you can be. No,
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
goes.
Yeah, I felt that a lot,
The
especially since
desire
I'm
or the
still
pull
in
to be
the
perfect. Yeah.
yeah, especially since I'm still kind of in the community. I mean, I would say most of the people I know here are LDS and kind of are that way.
Yeah.
You've probably gotten away from that a little. How is it outside of
Well, I'm in like this weird bubble where like I don't live around, like we don't have
young
neighbors who
people?
are our age, yeah. Which I think, we might look to change that just because
Yeah,
like maybe there would be a little more community if I lived somewhere with people more my
yeah,
age or something. Because yeah, like they're just at a different stage in their lives. Like the people that live right
yeah,
around me directly, so there's not a whole lot to like relate to each other on. Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. But the whole, I mean, I would say, and I've heard like people say this before, like guys and stuff, and they're like Utah has like the prettiest girls, and like it's because they're really main like, and they are because they try really hard, and
They're
maybe
really hard.
yeah, but it's like obviously a little like I don't know what the right word to say is here, like it's forced, like it's like I don't know.
It's all in the same box. I can describe it in um when my daughter played volleyball, there were like, I don't know, 20 girls on her team. And I took a picture of her volleyball poster, like with all the
Mhm.
girls on it. And I sent it to my sister. I'm like, hey, look, she's playing volleyball. And my sister laughed so hard. And she's like, they are all the same person. Like the only difference in any of these girls is like one shade of hair. Like they were all the same exact person. It was really funny. And I'm like, oh, no, you're kind of right. Like everybody kind of tries to fit into the same box, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of competition there, and it's hard to feel like you stand out at all. It's hard to feel like whatever you're doing, somebody else isn't already doing better.
Yeah.
And anyway, I stepping out of that can be really hard because you don't want to be the odd person out either. You don't want to be well, she's doing something different. Like, I
Well,
don't
and
know.
you just care so much what everybody thinks about you. And when that's what you're told is like ideal, and you've got to achieve that, and it's mentally exhausting and just hard. And when I did leave,
Mhm.
I feel like um I felt prettier outside of there because there I didn't feel like I fit the bill sometimes because there was
Oh
always
yeah, I
that
was
other.
I was always on the more average side of average. Like I was kind of like right in the middle for real. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I
And
stood
that's
out at
not
all.
real though. That's just how you felt. And
Yeah.
like
And
because
here I am like making fun of this when I still have like the Utah blonde hair, and I still very much try to fit into the box, I think a
yeah,
lot.
because it everybody wants to fit in, and also if that it makes you feel good to like look good, so it's not always a negative, it's just that it could also be very heavy because not everybody is that, there are so many different types of bodies and so many different types of people, and you fit a little easier into it because you are like naturally blonde, taller, thin frame, like that just is but
But it
some
gives you
people can't try. They could try, but will never be. It will just be a stress.
well, thank God we're not all the same because it's
Yeah,
exhausting. Like, ugh, I am I love variety. I love meeting all kinds of different people and talking to all kinds of different people. And I'm glad that when I walk around the mall or a fair or something, that there's so many different kinds of people. Like we're not clones, we're not robots. We're just so many different personalities. And I don't know. It
yeah.
just
Sometimes that like just the idea, all those different people, like when I'm people watching and stuff, have like these own separate realities, completely outside of mine, not even involving mine. Like, does that kind of stuff ever make your mind just like boggle?
yes.
Yeah.
I like to think about like people's like when I'm driving down the road and
Hmm.
I people watch I like look at people in their cars and I wonder like what kind of homes they're going home to. What is the like general feel?
Do you
What's
really?
yeah, I do.
I don't feel like I notice other people in their cars. I thought about this
Do all
recently.
the time.
I'm like, I noticed their car, but I don't notice the people in the car.
I'm
I'm the type
yeah,
that you could probably be next to waving, and I would be like,
I
I'm
notice
gonna.
people waving after I've passed. Like I do that a lot. Like, hey.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I people watch a lot. I like looking at people's when I drive at night. I like looking at like people's windows and
Oh, as you pass the houses and
just
stuff.
yeah, and just kind of imagining what life is like in each different one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's interesting.
Because there's a lot of different people, a lot of different ways to live. Anyway,
And we're all living one way, isolated.
isolated by ourselves. And it's sad that if so many of us do want friends, that we don't somehow connect. And I think most of us think we've got to put more effort into it than we do because a lot of us are busy and a lot of
Yeah,
us have got our own lives and nobody's looking for you to come over every single day and be their, bestest friend every single day.
yeah. And we stifle ourselves by not allowing people to come over when it's not perfect because then, like you said, like they're thinking, oh wow, they do have it all together, instead of being able to like like realize, yeah, we're all in the same freaking boat. We're all
Yeah.
struggling.
Hmm.
But our life also just doesn't like really like what's the like when going
Accommodate.
to, it doesn't accommodate that, like making friends, like our lifestyles, our go to school, go to work, go to like it just
Hmm. It's all laid out for us.
yeah. And while you do have like work friends, or at least I have, we don't ever hang out outside of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Hmm.
it's fun, but then you don't really know them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe, but
No, it's
for
not just
I've
you.
moved around a lot, and so a lot of times when I see the friends who are still friends and still hanging out, it's because they knew each other in high school.
Hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
So
Well, I don't know. My little sister's really good at making friends. She lives
yeah,
like she moved far away from home, and it seems like she's always got her little group of friends and things. So maybe other people just
are better
have
at it
it
than
easier.
us. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm
But
to say I don't have friends isn't really fair because I do, but
no,
it's just
and me, yeah, me too.
I don't have the
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 same type
one
that we had, and
exactly, like you don't get that type of friendship as easily, I don't think. Like
well, and we have more adult problems now, so it feels like a lot of the times it feels like, you know, I can't really let you in. I can't let other people get to know me um, in that same way. You know what I mean?
and that's
Like some,
because you're afraid of letting them in on your problems. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
kind of like, well, some problems are between me and my husband or
Yeah.
between me and my kids, or, there's
You don't
there's a
want
lot
them
more in,
casting judgments because a lot of times when you're complaining, it's more to think it out than to but
yeah,
once
or
they
like
hear
my
it,
kids will
then they
have
know.
a personal problem that if I told somebody else, it would feel like it was
Be like
betraying their
betraying their
trust
trust,
or
yeah.
yeah. Like so things that are still heavy for me, I can't, it's not the same. It's not,
Yeah, whereas I feel like with you, like there is none of that because there is no
oh, there's no judgment, there's no nothing.
exactly.
There's
It's just like, oh yeah, like we and we're
how do
but
you
then
create that outside of growing up together?
I don't know.
It's
I
it's a conundrum.
yeah, because even though the church does like create that community, which did, help people have just a place to be in community to help them, like I didn't um I never really had like any of my best friends who were people I went to church with either, though. Even though you and I we were both in
Yeah.
the same religion, we didn't go to the same church. We didn't live right next to each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I still attended church for most of the time I've been here, and I never formed
there,
that tight of
yeah,
relationships with people. It just, they were very superficial.
yeah.
Like there was a lot of people that I enjoyed, but it was more, oh, I like your dress. The cookies you brought the other day were so yummy. It's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it's so superficial. Um, I don't know, maybe,
Lacking depth.
yeah. What is it about us when we're young that allows us to like, I don't know. Maybe it's how much time you spend with that person, once you grow up and you
Yeah,
have to do
maybe.
real adult things, you don't get the time to like spend with someone to really get to know them on that level. It just takes a lot of time, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and there's always the mom guilt of feeling like you're
Yeah.
uh, focusing too much on things that are outside the home when everything, if you let it, everything in your house and your home will just take all of your time,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
everybody wants your time all the time, it feels like they need your and also
I
I
need you.
love that, but also yeah, it's so hard to find a balance of where you feel like you could really invest in a friendship anyway. Because
Hmm.
it's a whole lot of like, oh, we should totally get lunch. Never gets lunch.
So much of that. Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm
exactly.
like, at least we have technology that allows us to still hang out and call and complain
Right.
about things when we need to. So at least we have that because maybe not everybody does even have
Not
that.
everybody does. No,
And if you don't have that, you could be our friend.
that's right. It's true. We've got room for more.
Yeah.
Just come be a guest with us on our podcast and
Yes. If
we'll just
anybody is
talk.
watching and wants to just talk with us, leave your email. I'll let you join our Skype call. Or this is Zoom. I'm so
The
not
call,
the
whatever we're
call.
using,
Whatever we're doing.
whatever.
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it would. And I'm gonna start. I was gonna say investing, but that's not a very word. I'm gonna start looking into like adult parks and places where adults can get together without paying anything,
As
because
soon as
that's
you said
a real
adult
thing.
parks, though, it like automatically I thought like adult. I don't
L-
know, like
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 adult themed.
yes, exactly. Like like a adult kitty park. I don't know.
So adult kid park, like your adult kiddie parks.
Yeah, no.
Mm.
But I know what you
But
mean. Let be
yeah,
come up with a I don't know.
like
But
maybe
what
you could
time
even
are we
have
gonna
like
go to them?
they're just open for, because everybody's got different schedules. And they would have like color coded benches for like, you know, not blue is like not actively looking, but if you want to have a conversation, let's do it. And like green would be like, or red would be leave me the heck alone. I just want to be around people, but I don't want to talk to anybody, or like a whole bunch of different things. There would have to be rules.
I wish I could still have
Like,
like fun playing at a park. I mean, I'm sure I could. Like if we guys, I don't know. But like kids, they also go and like just use their imagination so much, and we're so based in
energy.
reality. It's like, man, get up. There we would have to be
It's
like
true.
as soon as you get into the park, there's no serious talk. Like it's you can plan that for after. Make your friends by playing. See who you want to
Uh-huh.
play with.
Right.
And then but have any like of the real life conversations outside of the park. And then it would be really fun.
I just imagine someone coming up. You want to play house? Like, oh God, no. Like, I
I
do
do
that way
that
too often.
all the time. No. And you're the mom and I'm the dad.
Right. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we need to reverse it. Like, we're all the kids.
Okay,
Somebody else can be
so
in charge.
uh,
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
but
There would
me
have to
and
be food
you
involved.
always. We used to go swing on the swings all the time. That was so fun. We
Yeah.
went to the park
It's
well into being in college.
yeah.
And Payson
And
had
it
a
was
fun little
fun.
park too. I don't know.
Yeah. And you could go spend like hours at the swimming pool. And now when I go there for like an hour, I'm like, done. Let's go.
So it's an us problem. We just don't have the
It
patience for fun.
is.
We can't just
That's sad.
but maybe if it were
We
just us,
should.
maybe if it were just us adults and there were no kids to be looking after, nobody who we needed to see if they were going to the bathroom,
That's
nobody to
true.
get a snack for, maybe
Uh-huh.
then we would play again
We
too.
would also do fun.
I bet you,
Yes.
like here in the villages area, like all these old people, like they're like living in an adult summer camp, basically. There's so many activities, and it's just a bunch of people their own age. Like the I would imagine this is a good place for adults to make friends, but you got to be like an old adult.
Older person.
And you got to have a decent
Yeah.
amount of money because it's not
That's
cheap.
the thing.
It's for like the
Like,
well-to-do to have friends and do things.
yeah, I like doing stuff, but I sure don't like spending money on it. Like, occasionally it's fine, but like if you go out all the time, it adds up.
Yeah.
So it's like
Are
how
you
much
tight on your like budget? Are you good about budgeting everything?
I make a budget and it's usually pretty tight. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
I
I've never been
I
the
have
best
it
with
all
that.
assigned out, but then something always comes in and like one of the kids is like, "Oh, I've got this, summer camp thing coming up and there's an extra $150 or you know what I
Mhm.
mean?" Like
Yeah.
it's
The
like, "Oh,
amount of
well,
activities that happen through school and the amount of money that it takes, like I'm just grateful that we've been able to do it, but I'm like that like I don't know.
yeah." Um so I over the course of our marriage, I've like taught piano lessons and I've done like tutoring little kids and things like that.
Okay.
And I never ever want to charge anybody. Like I
Feel
want
bad
to be
asking.
no, I want to be the one thing in somebody's life that they don't have to pay for. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, and if you had the means to, you didn't have
yeah,
to ask for it, then that's pretty sweet. That's awesome.
I'm sure if like my daily bread counted on it, I would definitely be more inclined if it was taking food out of my kid's mouth, heck yeah. But yeah, that's always been like a desire of my heart. It's like I don't want to be somebody's extra bill, you know?
That's cool that you have that skill, that's something to share that you could do that.
Well,
And that could
I'm
be a
not
way to make
doing it right
friends.
now.
Yeah, hey, but
But
maybe that's
yeah,
something you
that's
could do to
true.
like
You could,
be fulfilled a little bit. Granted,
yeah,
then who do you give your time to?
yeah. That's you're trading your time for something. I don't know.
I was just thinking
I,
like how do you find the kids that most
oh,
would need it or benefit from it?
yeah. You look around. There's always somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like old people too. I want to work with old people sometime.
Hey,
Just
you
go.
you definitely should come down here.
I should.
You'd have lots of friends.
Yeah. Well, you watch the way most people interact with old people, and it's always like very, like, I don't know, like treating them like they're fragile and talking to them like they're little children. You know what I
Uh,
mean? And
not
I'm like,
down
they're
here.
not that way. Yeah.
Yeah. There's too
My
many of
husband,
us, too many of them down
yeah.
here to treat them all that way, I guess.
We used to go do little programs at old folks' homes
Yeah.
occasionally through the church.
Hmm.
And like I was kind of that way. I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And Cody was very not that way, my husband.
Hmm.
Um he he'll get right in there like, "Hey, how you doing?" and like wrestle around with them just enough and like
Yeah.
be silly with them and they would come alive. I'm like, "Oh, they need more of that. They need
Yeah,
less
yeah.
patronizing little
Yeah.
do you need to go back to your room?" Like, yeah. Anyway,
When did you guys do that? Like,
we
sounds
did it
like
for
when
a
you were married,
couple of
obviously.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had kids. Last time we did it was probably like 6 years ago. It was a while, but
I'd say one of the things that not just community, but the service that we did being part of like a church. And I don't know if all churches are the
mhm,
same, but I feel like in the Mormon church there was definitely a
gave
big
you a lot of
emphasis on like community
uh-huh.
service, which I think is a real positive. And maybe overall, if we did more of that, but with what time, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it felt nice to do that. And we had a lot of like good experiences. Because I think once I moved away from you and like that environment,
Mhm.
I haven't sought to do that anymore.
Yeah, we used to look for stuff. We went
Yeah.
and volunteered at the mental hospital and like old
Yeah.
folks' homes, and we did food drives just because we could, and like
Yeah.
we did a lot of good.
But we did it for like because we enjoyed
Fun.
it. I mean, it didn't feel like
It didn't feel like service. It felt like just this is something to do.
I don't know. I don't know. But like, yeah, we just don't have time as adults. So I guess just enjoy it while you're young, kids, because then it goes away.
Go do
Just
stuff.
kidding.
Go
Do all the stuff.
all the service things. I don't know. There's still opportunities for us to serve now. Just gotta
Yeah, I was just
look for the right ones.
noticing that I
It's
don't
not as
really actively seek it, but I'm constantly in service to like my immediate family now, and maybe I didn't used to
yeah.
have that, so I
Well, I'm so
found
judgmental
ways to
now.
do it.
I think that's part of it too. Like
What do you
for
mean?
real, like when I go to Walmart and they're like, "Would you like to donate an extra dollar to the Miracle Foundation or whatever?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "You piece of crap. Why doesn't Walmart donate when, they're using
yeah,
it as a tax write-off, those turds." Like
yeah, yeah.
instead of being like, "Yes, I will give of myself to other people." It's like, I don't know. Why do you need this?
I've
That's,
been that way. I've been that way. Been like because I saw a thing that said like you're like why don't they not just why don't they donate, but they're gonna take that and then do it in the name in
yeah,
their name as a
as a
tax
tax
write-off. Yeah.
write-off.
So granted, I don't know if that's real or not, but I just imagine it
It
is
is.
because everything's about money.
Oh, for sure. If the donation money that they don't have to keep track of. So it just looks like millions of dollars coming out of their good-hearted
Yeah.
account.
I still say yes
I
when
think
it's
it's
like
dumb.
the children's hospitals or things like
Yeah,
that. And I guess I just hope it's going to like what
to
it's
the
really
right
supposed to or
place.
whatever. Yeah. So I do it
Yeah.
sometimes, but I also have been just said no because of that. Because also I'm
No,
like,
I don't want to do that.
most of the time it's also like, I don't really have, that's not in the budget. I think I know it's just a little
Yeah,
bit here and
no,
there.
it's like
But when they ask every time you go and
it adds
and
up.
I used to feel bad and now I'm just like, I just like, I'm
Just
there
no.
too often. Just
Yeah.
no.
I do like giving to like old people and kids. They get me every time.
Old people. When do you have the opportunity to give to old people?
Not recently, but like when we'd go do
Oh, for some reason I was
little
thinking like
programs.
giving, like,
Oh,
like donating because we talked
donating.
about giving donations or whatever. I was like, you're
Yeah.
donating to the
Church
elderly.
church gave you an opportunity to donate a lot of money as well, which
Yeah.
is a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Are you
I need
talking
to
tithing?
tithing, fast offerings, and
Yeah.
we need to just do a whole podcast on church sometime because it really is for those who've never been a part of it. It's kind of an interesting rodeo. But
Well, and
yeah, like
it's one of those things that I don't have many people I can talk about it with because either the people I know now they were never in the Mormon church, so not like they can't really like relate to things, or like
mhm,
in my family, either my siblings either just were not ever part of it or are still pretty entrenched in it, or at least they like
mhm.
still pretty much live the lifestyle, so it's like not something that we talk openly about, and it's so interesting.
It's
And
really
yeah,
interesting.
so it's like I would like to just do all the podcast just kidding, I don't think I could do them all, but like there's just so many things that it feels like there's no one I could really talk about it with but
Hmm.
you basically, so just to like hash
Yeah,
it out, because
yeah.
do you see like all the TikToks and stuff with all the
I've seen many of
deconstructing,
them.
blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And just hearing their stories and watching them break things down. I'm like, that'd be fun just to like talk that way. Cause I never had like
Yeah,
when I came out of the church, it wasn't TikTok wasn't there for me to like kind of like
yeah.
have these ideas with. It was more just me stepping back from it, and there were all the like, everybody just thinks you just want to you just want to sin
You,
basically.
right? You're tired of keeping those darn commandments. Yeah,
Yeah, versus it being
like
like, no, guys, like
that.
it doesn't
I
make sense. Like
I was kind of sold something as a kid and it turned out to be different, and I'm still learning how to navigate that,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
pretty much. Yeah, to me it does. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
still, and sometimes I will like want to talk about it, but you have to, it's just like you have to have like had the lived experience to like really,
Got to know your audience.
yeah.
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 Because if I
So,
like tell things to the people I work with right now, like
sorry.
they're like, Mormon, is that Amish? I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we're Amish.
Close. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, just say yes. No.
When we
It was not Amish. It felt very regular for
yeah. Oh, I've told so many
growing
people, I'm
up.
like, go to like Utah. You don't like, because when Anthony's daddy first came to Utah, he was like, so am I expecting like horse and buggy? Like he really thought like
Yeah, like
like he was
what are we
going to like
expecting
an
here?
old timey place, and I was like, no, not at all. Very,
You should have just taken him
they
right to like
keep up
the
with the
FLDS
Joneses.
polygamous stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know where that is, but that would have been funny.
Mhm. Yeah.
That would have been the kind of thing I would have done back then too. I would have followed through with something like that
And
nowadays.
actually, your little sisters, they should have been like in like those homespun dresses or something. They would have played that up if you give them the chance.
Yes.
Like they totally would have like
Oh my God.
curled their bangs really high, and
I
I'm
think
probably insulting a lot of people.
you sent me that video of that family that like was convincing his new girlfriend that they said like the pledge before every meal. I love that family.
Why did we not do
That's who I want to
more
be
of
friends
that?
with. Yeah.
Hmm. I'm gonna
Uh,
have to remember that for the next time my daughter brings somebody home.
yeah, I think my siblings would have went with stuff like that too. So
Oh, absolutely.
it was
It
so
could have been
funny.
fun. Sorry, I threw you off track though
Did you?
of what you were saying
I don't know that I
about
ever was on a
Anthony's
track.
dad.
Oh no, I said it. He thought we
Okay.
were like Amish,
Yeah.
where he just didn't know what to
So
expect. I think oh, he was asking, he was like, what do they call people from Utah? Is it Mormons? And somebody was like, no, Utahns. Like Mormons, no, it's not. It was
sometimes,
funny. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, let's do a whole podcast on it sometime. Be that'd be interesting. We could add
Yeah.
our
We'd have
little
to
snippets to the.
try to find like a good direction because I know I would go like,
Uh,
all
there's a
over, but
lot.
if I could get like a something to try to maybe a rod to hold on to.
Rod. Yes.
Hold to the
Yes.
rod.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. I still sing songs to myself, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Me too. I
that
sing primary songs in my head. And I'll be like singing it. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why am I just
is
they
there
don't
really
let you?
popcorn on the apricot tree? No.
Or follow the prophet, follow the prophet. It still rings in my head. And it's like, that's some like brainwashy shit there.
You see it a little bit differently, like when you, which is,
Yes, you do.
yeah.
When you hear it, oh, it just sounds like a chant. Like, but in, you know,
But when you're in it, it's like, of
yeah.
course I would want my kids to learn this, and this is the best way to learn it is through song and things. And then when you get out of it, it's like, oh no, I don't know. It just, it's weird how things look differently, and we can go into that later. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
things look
totally.
things look very different from the inside than from the outside.
Yeah,
So
100%. All right.
okay.
Well, so come and live here
Anyway,
so
make
that I
friends.
can
Yes.
no, come live
Well,
here so we can live communally and you can clean all the bathrooms and I will do all the laundry. Because I hate doing
when
bathrooms. Like
I
absolute worst for me. And actually with
yeah.
laundry, like I do a pretty good folding job. Like I like to
Yeah,
get it
you
real
do.
nice and like when
And
other sometimes when other people fold laundry, I'm like what's
you
you're
were always
folding
good at that.
you're folding creases into your shirt right now.
Hmm.
So
Well, and you do this thing where like right after it's done in the washer, you put it into the dryer. You don't wait like a long time. I do
uh
remember that about you. I wasn't like specifically talking about you when I mentioned laundry, but now that you mention it, sweet. Okay.
There we go. Hey, and I despise like the toilets and stuff like that because it's just too close to like poo particles for me.
Well, see, I'm seeing some good things here.
Yeah, and my friend Jamie is like the best in the kitchen for like just throwing shit together and making it taste really good. So she could do the
She's in.
kitchen. We've
She's
already
in.
we've already
I will
got
hire
our
her with
commune
us.
starting.
Awesome. I like
Now
this
we
idea.
just need to win the lottery and get a plot of land and
There you
yeah,
go.
there we go. So it's all
It will all
sorted
work
now.
out.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. Let's do this.
All right.
Anyway,
Well,
thank you for podcasting with me. I
yeah.
love this.
It was fun to chat. I miss you.
I miss you as well.
Yeah.
Have an awesome week. May this week be like fan freaking tastic
Yeah, for
for
you
both of
too. I
us.
hope. I'm gonna try to like be positive and put it out there that it's gonna be positive so that it doesn't suck. So I
That
don't
is a
know.
good idea. It's a
I,
really good
I
idea.
believe in that just because I think you 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 just allow yourself to like I don't know. It just works because you're not looking for all the bad, pretty much. Because I'm sure I could find a lot of bad, but it's going to be a good week
It's gonna be good.
for
This
you
will be
too.
awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks
Love
for being
you.
my
We'll see
friend.
you.
Love you. You're
Back at you.
closer.
Thanks for still being my friend after all of these years, because it's hard to hang on to friends. I'm glad you're still here.
Yeah, I know. And really, we need to have like we need to do one. I'm gonna just like send out a group text to like our high school girls because how fun would that be? It
That
would
would
look
be
like it
awesome.
could look like the Brady Bunch up here. And like
It would be awesome. We
yeah,
just
and I
need a
feel like
topic and
those are
like
the
a
type of friends that you could do that with. Whereas I don't have that elsewhere in my life. You know what I mean? Like I've had jobs with
no.
people here or there where I felt like we were pretty good friends at the time, or I'd move and whatever. But it's like those people you knew from high school that I feel like even though we haven't talked in a really long time, I could just put it out there and they might go for it.
Be like, oh yeah, let's do
Yeah.
this.
And we could do the
All
car
right.
dance. And I'm about to eat a cracker.
Okay. Enjoy your cracker.
Thanks. Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Lilas. Bye.
Lilas.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
There's a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.